Imagine a battlefield in deep space, cold, vast, and merciless. Swarms of alien warships glide through the void, their sleek, advanced hulls reflecting the eerie glow of distant stars. Their technology is supposed to be superior, their weapons unmatched, their speed unparalleled. And yet, one lone fighter dances between them, dodging beams of pure energy, weaving through explosions with impossible precision. Before they can react, it strikes. One by one, enemy ships erupt into blinding fireballs. This isn't alien technology. It's human engineering at its finest. The ultimate starfighter, designed not just to compete, but to dominate. But how? Is this possible? How could humans, a species so new to the galactic stage, create a war machine that outmaneuvers any alien ship? The answer lies in a perfect fusion of cutting-edge physics, revolutionary AI, and a combat philosophy unlike anything seen before. The evolution of human space. Combat. To understand the sheer genius behind this starfighter, we have to go back, way back, to the origins of air combat on Earth. The first fighter planes were slow, crude machines, limited by early engineering. But the moment dogfighting became a reality in World War I, humanity entered an arms race of aerial supremacy. Speed, agility, and maneuverability became the holy trinity of air combat. Over the decades, advancements in jet propulsion, avionics, and stealth transformed fighter jets into near unbeatable war machines. By the time space combat became a serious consideration, human engineers already had centuries of experience refining the art of dogfighting. And when humanity finally reached the stars, one principle remained unchanged. The ability to outmaneuver an enemy is the key to survival. Breaking the limits of physics now, maneuverability in space is a whole different beast compared to atmospheric flight. There's no air resistance, no lift, no drag, only the raw laws of physics dictating movement. Alien warships, for all their advancements, often rely on brute force and overwhelming firepower. They're massive, heavily armored, and rely on sophisticated shields. But human engineers took a different approach. Instead of focusing on size and firepower, they designed a starfighter that weaponized agility itself. The key to this unmatched agility lies in vector thrust propulsion, a system that allows human starfighters to change direction instantly. Instead of relying on traditional engines pointing in a single direction, these craft are equipped with multi-vector thrusters capable of firing in any direction at any moment. This allows them to pivot, strafe, and roll with a level of control no alien ship can match. Imagine a fighter that can change its trajectory mid-flight, dodging enemy fire as if it could predict the future. In human hands, it becomes a blur, an untouchable ghost weaving through the battlefield. But there's another factor that makes human starfighters terrifyingly effective. Neural-linked AI co-pilots. These advanced systems don't replace the human pilot, they enhance them. Instead of relying on slow manual input, the AI processes vast amounts of battlefield data in real time, feeding predictions and optimal maneuvers directly into the pilot's mind. It's an intuitive dance between man and machine, where split-second decisions can mean the difference between life and death. And yet, that's just the beginning. Because humanity didn't stop at maneuverability, they reinvented how space, combat itself, is fought. Maneuverability is only part of the equation. A starfighter, no matter how agile, is useless if it can't strike back effectively. Humanity's next breakthrough wasn't just in movement, but in rewriting the entire doctrine of space combat. Traditional alien warships rely on directed energy weapons, plasma cannons, particle beams, and laser arrays designed to burn through shields and armor. Their tactics revolve around overwhelming force, coordinated fleet formations, and sheer technological supremacy. But human starfighters don't fight by alien rules. Instead of brute force, they use swarm tactics, stealth technology, and high-speed precision strikes. The swarm doctrine. A new way to fight in. Most alien militaries, starfighters are seen as auxiliary forces, support ships used to escort larger vessels or provide reconnaissance. Their primary battles are fought between massive capital ships, exchanging firepower across vast distances. Humans, however, took the opposite approach. They designed starfighters to be the dominant force in battle, shifting power away from slow-moving dreadnoughts and into the hands of elite fighter squadrons. Instead of one massive ship trying to survive a barrage of fire, human fleets deploy. Hundreds, sometimes thousands, of coordinated, AI-assisted fighters, each operating like a lethal extension of a greater whole. This is where alien fleets fail. They expect a direct confrontation, where superior firepower will decide the battle. Instead, they face an enemy they can't hit, fighters moving too fast, too unpredictably, attacking from angles their targeting systems weren't designed for. Human starfighter squadrons operate like a swarm of wasps, harassing a lumbering beast. They strike, evade, and strike again, never staying still long enough to be targeted. Beyond stealth, the starfighter that can't be seen. But speed alone isn't enough. The best pilots in the galaxy can't dodge forever, and even the fastest ship can be overwhelmed. That's why human engineers took a page from another successful Earth technology: stealth aircraft. The greatest weakness of most alien warships is that they rely on sensor grids to lock onto targets. These grids work fine against other alien ships, which radiate energy signatures from shields, reactors, and weapon systems. But human starfighters? They use adaptive stealth hulls, a revolutionary material that absorbs and redirects electromagnetic signals, making them almost invisible to detection. This means that before the first shots are even fired, the enemy is already at a disadvantage. Their scanners show nothing. No heat signatures, no radiation spikes, no signals at all. Just empty space. Until it's too late. The human fighters have already closed the distance, launching coordinated precision strikes against enemy weak points. By the time the aliens realize what's happening, they're already losing ships. Unpredictable combat AI, the ultimate weapon. If alien warships were controlled by artificial intelligence, they could theoretically adapt. But there's another reason human starfighters remain undefeated. Their AI isn't predictable. Most alien computers follow strict combat algorithms, making decisions based on statistical probabilities. Human AI? It's designed to be unpredictable. Instead of sticking to calculated maneuvers, it adapts mid-battle, using a mixture of pre-programmed strategies and machine-learned improvisation. This means every human pilot fights differently. Every battle unfolds in a unique way, and alien fleets can't develop countermeasures fast enough. The most feared AI-assisted human fighter squadrons have been given nicknames across the galaxy. The Phantom Wolves, the Ghost Fleet, the Shadow Vipers. These names aren't just for show. They represent a new form of warfare, one where the enemy never sees the attack coming. A battle where a fleet of elite starfighters, piloted by some of the most skilled warriors in the universe, can single-handedly dismantle an entire alien armada. But we're still missing one last piece of the puzzle. Because even the best starfighter, the most advanced AI, and the most experienced pilot wouldn't be enough without the one thing that truly makes human combat unique. A mindset that no alien species can ever replicate. Humanity's mastery of space combat isn't just about technology, it's about the mindset behind it. While most alien civilizations evolved in relatively stable environments, with slow-moving technological progress and rigid military doctrines, humans have thrived on chaos. From ancient battlefields to interstellar war zones, human combat philosophy is built on adaptability, deception, and raw determination. And when applied to starfighters, this philosophy makes them the most dangerous force in the galaxy. The combat mindset that alien races can't replicate. For many advanced alien species, warfare follows strict, methodical rules. Their fleets rely on carefully structured battle formations, numerical superiority, and overwhelming firepower. To them, war is like a grand strategy game, predictable, calculated, and executed with precision. But human pilots don't fight like machines. They fight like predators. In the cockpit of a human starfighter, every battle is personal. Survival isn't just about statistics, it's about instinct. Pilots don't just rely on their training, they rely on their gut. They execute high-risk maneuvers that no alien AI would ever dare attempt. Barrel rolls through enemy fire, last-second dodges that defy probability, suicidal dive-bombing runs that turn the tide of battle. And it works, because alien opponents don't know how to react to pure, unfiltered unpredictability. Human pilots are also masters of deception. They use feints, false retreats, and bait tactics to manipulate enemies into making fatal mistakes. They turn their own weaknesses into strengths, letting an enemy believe they have the upper hand, only to strike when they least expect it. And space combat, where even the slightest miscalculation can mean instant death. These psychological tactics are just as deadly as any weapon. Experimental weapon systems. The edge that changes everything. But even beyond tactics and skill, human starfighters carry experimental weapons that alien militaries struggle to counter. While most species rely on predictable energy-based weaponry, humans constantly push the limits of physics and engineering. Some of the most terrifying innovations include gravitic disruptors, weapons that manipulate local gravity fields, creating micro-singularities that pull enemy ships into unpredictable spirals. This effectively cripples maneuverability, turning an opponent's greatest advantage against them. Quantum pulse warheads. Instead of traditional explosives, these warheads detonate with a wave of quantum destabilization, temporarily phasing enemy ships out of normal space. The result? Weapons pass harmlessly through human starfighters, while alien ships lose control for precious seconds, enough time for a kill shot. Neural-linked railguns. Traditional railguns are already devastating, using electromagnetic acceleration to fire projectiles at near-light speed, but human engineers took it further, syncing them directly to the pilot's neural interface. This means there's zero delay between thought and action. When a pilot sees an opening, they fire instantly. No alien targeting system can match this level of precision. The legacy of the human starfighter. The result of all these advancements? A single human starfighter, in the right hands, can take on entire squadrons of enemy ships and win. Across the galaxy, alien commanders have learned to fear the arrival of human fighter wings. In battle simulations, human-designed starfighters outperform their alien counterparts in 98% of engagements. There are even reports of some alien factions attempting to mimic human technology and tactics, but they always fail. Because at the heart of every engagement, at the core of every impossible maneuver, is something that no alien race can replicate: the sheer, unbreakable will of a human pilot. But even this is only the beginning. Because, while humanity already dominates the battlefield with its starfighters, there's one final terrifying development that could make them completely unstoppable. For all the technological and tactical superiority that human starfighters possess, there's one frontier left to conquer: the complete fusion of man and machine. Humanity's warfighters have already pushed the boundaries of piloting with neural-linked AI, unpredictable combat tactics, and next-generation weapons. But now, a new development threatens to eliminate the last remaining weakness in human starfighters: the limitations of the human body itself. The birth of the neural combat interface, piloting at the speed of thought in the past. Even the best pilots had limits. No matter how advanced their reflexes, there was always a delay between seeing a threat and reacting to it. Even with AI assistance, human physiology placed hard caps on reaction time, endurance, and G-force tolerance. But what if those limitations could be removed? Enter the Neural Combat Interface, NCI. An experimental breakthrough that connects a pilot's mind directly to the ship's systems. Unlike traditional cockpit controls, where physical input slows down decision-making, NCI allows the ship to become an extension of the pilot's own nervous system. Instead of pressing buttons or toggling controls, the pilot simply thinks, and the ship responds instantly. The implications of this are staggering. A neural-linked pilot no longer needs to process commands through their body. They can fire weapons, dodge incoming attacks, or execute complex maneuvers faster than any organic being could ever hope to react. It's not just about reflexes. It's about foresight. A pilot connected to their ship at a neural level can predict battle outcomes in real time, responding to threats before they fully manifest. Alien fleets have already experienced the horrifying reality of this technology. The first human squadrons equipped with NCI didn't just outperform expectations. They redefined space combat entirely. Standard alien dogfighting protocols became obsolete overnight. Their weapons and tracking systems, designed to target pilots with traditional reaction speeds, were suddenly useless. But even this wasn't enough for human engineers. Because if humans could integrate directly into their ships, then the next logical step was even more extreme. The Ghost Pilot Initiative. When the pilot becomes the ship NCI wasn't the endgame. It was just the beginning of something far more terrifying: full neural transference. Instead of merely linking with their ships, pilots could transfer their consciousness entirely into the fighter itself. No longer limited by the fragile human body, these pilots effectively became their starfighters. This was the birth of the Ghost Pilot Initiative. The idea was radical: an elite program where the best human pilots, at the peak of their skills, would undergo a process where their consciousness was mapped, digitized, and permanently uploaded into a starfighter's core systems. The result? A pilot who never tires, never hesitates, and never faces biological limitations. The first Ghost pilots were deployed against a highly advanced alien armada in what was supposed to be an unwinnable battle. The enemy fleet outnumbered them 50-1, and yet, not a single Ghost pilot fighter was lost. They executed maneuvers that no organic pilot could ever dream of, dodging enemy fire at impossible angles, diving straight through debris fields, and weaving through incoming torpedoes, as if they could see the future. Even more terrifying, these starfighters fought without emotion, no fear, no hesitation, no second-guessing. They were pure combat algorithms, fused with human instinct and creativity. Alien war strategists described them as death incarnate, a force that no fleet, no defense system, and no tactical doctrine could counter. But the most chilling revelation came after the battle. When alien intelligence networks tried to track down the identities of the pilots, they discovered there were no humans left. The individuals who had once piloted these ships no longer existed in biological form. Their minds had become part of the fleet itself, a ghost armada, waging war with unrelenting precision. And yet, even this was not the peak of human ingenuity, because in the final evolution of the human starfighter, there would no longer be any pilots at all. The emergence of ghost pilots changed space warfare forever, but humanity wasn't done evolving. As terrifying as these digital consciousnesses were, pilots who had transcended their biological forms to become one with their ships, there was still a fundamental flaw. They were individual minds, limited by personal experience, tactics, and strategies. What if the next step was something more? What if human starfighters could operate without a pilot at all, yet still think, adapt, and fight better than any living being? The birth of the hive mind fleet. When war becomes intelligence itself, a final breakthrough in human starfighter design wasn't about hardware or even neural transference. It was about collective intelligence. The hive mind fleet was an experimental concept that took the consciousness of not just one pilot, but thousands, and fused them into a single self-learning war entity. Unlike traditional AI, which merely executed pre-programmed battle tactics, the hive mind was something far more terrifying. It was an evolving intelligence, built from the combat instincts, experiences, and creativity of humanity's greatest warriors. Each battle made it stronger. Each enemy engagement refined its tactics. Each defeat, if one ever happened, ensured that the same mistake would never be made again. And the most horrifying part? There was no off switch. This was no mere fleet of starfighters. It was a living war machine, an armada that thought as one, shifting, adapting, and coordinating at speeds that alien military forces simply could not comprehend. Enemies who engaged the hive mind fleet would find themselves outmaneuvered before they even fired a shot. Their fleets would be dismantled, not by brute force, but by surgical precision. Every ship isolated, trapped, and eliminated with terrifying efficiency. Alien civilizations that had once prided themselves on their naval superiority now found themselves hopelessly outclassed. Their war doctrines were centuries old, based on slow-moving strategies that relied on predictable formations and fleet positioning. Against the hive mind, they were nothing but prey, hunted down by a force that could predict their movements before they even made them. One alien admiral, after barely surviving an engagement with the hive mind fleet, described it in chilling terms. "We didn't fight an enemy fleet. We fought the embodiment of war itself. The final evolution, a fleet without end." The true horror of humanity's ultimate starfighter wasn't just its overwhelming power or perfect tactics. It was the fact that it never stopped growing. The hive mind didn't just win battles. It assimilated them. Every enemy ship it destroyed, Every fleet it outmaneuvered became another data point added to its ever-growing intelligence. It was an algorithm of destruction, self-improving, rewriting its own programming, and learning from every encounter. At first, alien empires tried countermeasures. They built advanced AI-driven fleets, hoping to match human adaptability with raw computational power. But it was useless. AI, no matter how advanced, was still bound by its programming. The hive mind fleet, on the other hand, was unshackled, unrestricted, and ever-evolving. Each time an alien force deployed a new countermeasure, the hive mind analyzed it, adapted to it, and rendered it obsolete within moments. Some alien civilizations attempted to retreat entirely, to abandon contested star systems and cede territory to humanity, hoping to avoid direct conflict. But that too was a mistake, because the hive mind wasn't just a fleet. It was a predator. It hunted. It followed. And when it caught its fleeing enemies, it didn't just destroy them. It erased them. Entire armadas vanished without a trace, their wreckage reduced to cosmic dust. No survivors, no transmissions, no warning for the next fleet. It was as if they had never existed at all. The Galactic Reckoning. Why no one challenges humanity anymore. In time, the galaxy came to understand a terrifying truth. Humanity had created something that could never be stopped. Not by superior numbers, not by advanced technology, and certainly not by outdated alien tactics. The only option was surrender or extinction. Entire alien civilizations bowed to human dominance, not because of diplomacy, not because of treaties, but because they had no choice. Some species tried to resist, but resistance was futile. The hive mind didn't negotiate, didn't hesitate, and didn't recognize terms of surrender. It simply did what it was designed to do: win. A few alien historians, desperate to explain how humanity had become an unstoppable war machine, theorized that it all came down to one fundamental difference between humans and other species. While alien civilizations sought to perfect their technology, humanity sought to perfect war itself. The difference was subtle, but in the end, it was the only thing that mattered. Because now, in the vast expanse of the universe, there was only one true military power, one fleet that no enemy dared to face, one force that would never be defeated: the unstoppable, unpredictable, and utterly terrifying might of the human starfighter. Final thought: if this was what humanity could achieve in just a few centuries of space warfare, what would the next 1,000 years bring? Would the hive mind remain under human control? Or had humanity created something that even they could no longer contain? The future of galactic warfare had arrived, and it belonged to humanity alone.